of our little waffle, Gibby. It's time to crack straight into it. W7M versus CYCLOPS. Are you ready for this one? Clubhouse map number 1. Any predictions as we get ready for this one?
Well, in any other game, in any other world against CAG, Monty would be banned. And it's not going to change here. W7M going straight for Anatun with the very first ban. And that makes me sad because obviously Brazil have a completely different way of playing Monty than what CAG do. Anatun plays it like an entry, you know. Picture KZ on his best day. That's what sometimes whenever Anatun is on one, that's what he's like with the Monty. Osa is going to be banned again, so it's, you know, if W7M are going to get rid of the shield that CAG used so well, CAG are going to get rid of Osa, which means that W7M don't have that operator that you can use to aggressively take space. So a little bit of gameplay happening in the ban phase early on.
The really interesting thing would be what the defensive bans would be. We saw how influential the mirror was previously on Clubhouse between M80 and G2, and that's been banned away. And the final ban for W7M is going to be that Valkyrie. So, Solus, Azami, Fenrir, all available. Those are your 3 high-impact defensive operators, and I'm very intrigued to see how W7M play with those in their arsenal. They will start on the defense, and straight away, Philippox on that Azami. And well, a name, if you were watching last year's Gamer8, Philippox, someone you might remember, as he was part of MIBR, who unfortunately were a team that was knocked out in the very first day of competition. A curse, a streak. He will be very keen not to continue this year around.
If W7M get knocked out today, I would be very surprised. I still think that as it stands, you're as good as your last performance. I know that they played, you know, played a couple of events, but I still think that they're the best team in the world right now, and they play the game to perfection. KZ is nuts. They brought in Philippox, who, as a lot of you might know, isn't a support player, but he kind of plays that role for this team, but he can frag like a flex or an entry. This is going to be a clash of the Titans, but I have it on very good authority that, you know that meme? There's one thing that scares me, and it's this. I have heard that the one thing that scares Brazilian teams is CAG, and I have it from good authority from a world champion that is the case. So, are CAG going to be a thing of nightmares for W7M here on Clubhouse, or will W7M realize that it's just a dream and they can wake up?
2 members of CAG already inside of Oil Pit, and Blackwave finds the opening. KZ first to fall, and everyone speaks about how KZ is in that GOAT conversation for Siege, and he's first to go. Now, I'll lay the scene out here. I might be a massive stan for CYCLOPS, but you know what? It's going to be an uphill battle. They are the underdogs in this matchup. No matter how much it hurts me to say this, no matter how much I say they're the best team in the world, facts are facts, and W7M will be a difficult task to do. However, opening pick early, but can they capitalize upon that? Already toying and putting pressure on site directly, but a lot of W7M have freedom to move around the other side of the map completely. And back right, spots Yazami trying to make a dashing cross to contest Oil Pit long.
And the thing that I like is that Blackray didn't get over-aggressive. He knew that his position was given up, so he didn't allow Philippox to peek back the other way. He's still playing at the top of Adam, holding that skinny angle, but that will keep him relatively safe. But the thing is, they got pressure down blue really early, and that means that you've cut off a lot of options for W7M on defense. In reality, inside of Oil Pit, actually does not need to move. He can just keep the pressure on and keep that, as we like to call it, phantom pressure on the player on Generator. Smokes are going to be tossed. They've now given up blue to CAG if they want to take it, but we're 1 minute and 10 seconds into the round, and there's finally looks like there's going to be an attempt to get that open.
Yeah, I think CAG they wanted to go for something fast in Oil Pit, and Blue deciding against it, and they still have the resources and tools they need for a more default execution. They've not opened up the kitchen hatch. Now they're doing that, but time is going to be a very key element. But with 2 players still holding on and contesting pressure down towards Blue, you're going to feel the W7M are going to feel a bit of pressure. The Kiba barriers generating and giving Philippox all the space he needs to make that Oil Pit play. But truly a little bit nervous. Everything's picking up on a second engagement, And it's going to be a difficult one with the Ash ultimate loses it and Herds finds one the Black Ray. CAG's advantage again so early, neutralized. Advantage W7M 4 versus 3, but the kitchen hatch is open and it's CAG. Who knows when they'll decide to drop. A point of siege timing there for Suzuki. Opposite from Anatim, but W7M just like that. Clean up shop and they get CAG shot down. They'll take the very opening round here on Club.
And you can just tell by the way W7M take their gunfights that they are, they play on LAN all the time. The Brazilian league is played in a LAN environment. They played obviously in the major and at SI at LAN. So, in reality, you're looking at these teams in Brazil and maybe NA last year as being the best or the players that should know how to play LAN best. So you can tell by their gunfights that they're hyper aggressive. They back it. There's no latency issues whatsoever. And you can tell it with the way they play hyper aggressive in those gunfights. Something to keep an eye on as well for people who maybe might not be as, intimate with their knowledge of Brazil is Brazilian teams love using DMR. So when we get to attack, watch for a lot of those come into play as well. But I got to give Philippox a lot of credit. He's held his own. He gave up Generator for just a moment to regroup, took it back again, held that spot for a long time, and just really made CAG struggle with that push through blue side.
No, it wasn't the start I would have wanted from CAG. Right. You know what? I'm gonna. You know what, Gibby? As much as it pains me, I think for everyone who knows me personally, knows how much it pains me. I'm gonna drop the CAG superfan aspect for a moment and say this is going to be too hard. I think prediction W7M domination. Unfortunately, changes to CAG's playstyle might slow them down too much, and this map simply will be too much to deal with. Yeah, Philippox on the Solace will be a massive problem to shut down. Hunting drones early and has that ability to choke out information. Look already at how many drones got burnt away. That's 3 taken away in a very early stage. And they continue, or will they struggle with that lack of information now?
Yeah, and the big thing as well is, W7M, we know their style of play inside and out. Well, but Brazil is technically our pseudo second home now at this point, having worked BR in stage 1. And it's a team that I think that a lot of teams at Gamers8 will want to take the scalp of as well. Once you become a major champion, you get a massive target printed on your back. So now we go up to CCTV Cash, and we're seeing that 2-man defense on Rafters. Again, KZ's in position by the window to stop anybody from pushing through. JV's in position then to stop the push inside of Garage, so they're going to work as a tandem. And then Philippox will just bide his time, but Anatun seems very aware that Solace is in place, but he misses his opportunity to hit the shots. And, well, Philippox, he doesn't need a second opportunity. He will take down Anatun. And now Black Ray on the hunt to trade it back. He was just a little bit too slow, a little bit late to the party. And now Philippox will know that there's a drone if he uses his Solace gadget as well. Really good aggression on defense here, and he manages to find that kill. And this is the player that they brought in to replace as support, by the way.
Yep, support player, by the way, for W7M is Philippox, and Herds will find one more onto a Curly, and I think this round is just going to taper out to dominance once again for W7M. Chip2 walks up and binds 2 on red stairs. W7M caught napping! CAG, just like that, a found 3! The major champions caught napping the Herd! Will calm the nerves and basically guarantee the round is won. You don't want to rely on winning gunfights against Brazilian players, no matter how good you are. They're just built to something different over there, and they'll get caught with a magnet and the cross. Well, Philippox there to find 3. Chipsu nearly made something heroic happen. Great gun skill to do so, and a very early timeout being called by CAG.
But CAG do CAG things as well and just send someone up red stairs and almost completely open up the defense. But W7M, 2 rounds on the trot, and just like that, CAG have elected to take their first timeout again. And this is something that I cannot emphasize enough. I am such a huge fan of the early timeout, because look at it this way. You take an early timeout if things are going wrong. You can make the changes that you need to. And 9 times out of 10, the opposition are going to use their timeout at some point in the game as well. So you know that usually you're going to get a second opportunity to talk to your team.
Couldn't agree more. It means it gives you more time to correct mistakes if you see them early. which is the big thing you got to remember. Sometimes the coach might leave it a little bit later because they don't want to upset the flow and rhythm of their team and rely on that internal problem solving without having to come into it. So a CAG very early call. Normally you see teams waiting until the third round, but second round already bringing that out. That to me is a bit of a caution sign. A team that we've seen so much aggression from in the past, it feels like W7M's play has neutralized that. They can't do what they want. They don't have the freedom to do what they want. And not only that, look at the players they're against. You can't rely on your crazy strats or your in-your-face style when you have Daisy, JVN2, Herds, Nate, and Philippox on the other side. They'll win their ones no matter what you do. And that's what W7M are so good at, as well as great reactions and great overall coordination and cohesion as a team.
Bomb located by
All in all, again, it's another match of contrasting styles again, because W7M so good at the simple stuff, right? They do it so well, and that's what they built their success on. CAG bring out, as we said, the strat bowl where they pull it out and say, okay, this is the strat that we're using. Then they reach into the other bowl and go, right, these are the operators that we're going to use. But looking at it this time, you know, you've got Anatun on Ying, Black Ray in play again. Last time they brought Ying, which was the last round, Philippox was able to shut Anatun down. So he needs to make sure that he either wins that gunfight or gets out of it and has an impact later on the round. What I like about W7M's defense here is they've fully reinforced this side of the map. They've given up reinforcements elsewhere to force CAG to use utility. They may even need to use a second set of hard breach to open up that main wall in towards Cash. And while that wall is solid, it means JV92 can play in position, Philippox can still play in position as well. It's a puzzle that needs to be cracked by CAG.
Do they have the resources to do it? That's always the question I want to ask. They're so keen on taking these gunfights. You gotta feel like, are they going to be able to break down the puzzle? And when they get those gunfights, can they win them? An aggressive push, Chibs, who's already deep inside of C, or inside of server, I should say. Keep a barrier removed. Just waiting, biding time. I believe the reinforcement actually happened on that single wall under the cover of that Kiba to buy some time. And cash control gathered decently timely fashion as well from CAG. They can work with this. But the question is that jacuzzi wall open yet? And no, it's not. Can they get that open without wasting too much time and resources to get that done?
Well, here comes the second attempt at a breach, and KZ will just step back in towards the bomb chassis now. Will probably peek once it opens, and he does, spraying through, as I always like to see. Players get aggressive on defense when the breach is open, because you can always catch the attackers napping. Now, Suzu C will begin to drone out logistics to see if that logistics hatch drop is an option, but he will find Nade playing in the little cubby, waiting to see where that push comes from. But again, Philippox is playing below, and the big thing this time around, though, is he doesn't have the C4. But guess what? Nade does, and he's playing on site.
And Nade, one of those players that you're going to trust on site. One of the highest clutch percentages of any player in the world in Siege, and actually in the history of Siege. Candelas go out, and they'll try and capitalize upon that one, but Nade will find a shotgun blast Anatun, and CAG might begin to crumble, but it's going to be Suzu C and our crewly to find one apiece. Herds and Philippox pop off, and mean it now at 3 versus 1. Case can't go down safely, meaning it's all down to that rifle in the hand of Suzu C. But too many angles are checking, too many members of W7M to deal with. Herds gets credit with that final pick, and it's going to be another round of the Raging Bulls, your major champions, W7M, looking complete control here on Club.
But I want to point out that you can tell W7M have done their homework as well. Because again, we've heard that Brazil teams are afraid of CAG. So what better way to counter it than understand the way they play, which, by the way, is a lot easier said than done. Now, if you look at Philippox, right? He's playing, so if he knows the push is coming from, you know, over by CCTV Cash, he'll play by main stairs and wait for the backstab, because CAG always love to send at least one player to try backstab in the site very late on. So Philippox is really successfully shutting it down. You saw them get a little bit of success from it in the, was it the first or second round, where Chibisu was able to push up red stairs when the rest of the push was coming through breach and get a multi-kill. So really impressive the way W7M are saying, Philippox, we know you're incredible, but we want you to make sure that our flank is secure. Make sure that they're not going to sneak in the site behind us.
Round 4 we go, and it's going to be back to the basement for this one. We saw the opening round how the intention was to go a little bit quick inside of blue and have that split push occur. Now it looks like W7M are toying with the idea of a roam presence, and well, spawn peek, you see Blackray takes a chunk of damage early, and that was to the hands of Herds. Not an ideal position to find yourself in early. You don't want to lose a player like that. Blackray has been very good for CAG in the tenure of this team. A lot of drones sent out, hunting out Herds, but no one's behind it to pounce. Cautious of an entryway instead of garage, and I think Herds, you might want to not overstay your welcome. Go back to site and aggressive, but Blackray's in! No, here they go. Straight down main stairs. They found that opening, and this is what they do best. But the player photo might be a problem. The shot with them, they're inside of sight! JV92 gets one, the Blackray, but this is the problem. Chipsu inside, doesn't know the players inside of 900, inside of Moto, and JV92 shuts them down. A miscommunication. But CAG seemingly has separate teams within them, sending off, you know what, we'll send 2 players, get aggressive, push down, get site control, and see what happens from there. But 3 versus 3, the best position CAG have been to get around.
Why is this not a best of 5? I wish this was a best of 5. W7M 3 versus 3 with a 3-round lead, but you saw the aggression from CAG. Impact trick comes through to stop the first part of the breach, but Akruli makes his way down blue and finds a kill anyway. So now we're seeing the Kiba barriers being used to shut down the push. Now, is there a better operator in the game for dealing with it? Well, other than Habana, I think Ash is pretty good at dealing with those Kiba barriers, but I think they may have been used already. And look at this. He's going to go prone and look to see if he can find any feet playing inside of blue. But again, a minute and 20 seconds to go. That's still an eternity in Siege. And it feels like we've already played about 3 minutes in this round.
A C4 finds a lots of damage on the Ash, but again, not enough to down her. Kill crosses straight into Akuli. Philippox falls, leaving Nade alone, but with the highest clutch percentage of anyone in Siege history, I wouldn't doubt this. Finds 1, 2 more to go. Make it 1 more to find. Nade looks unstoppable in positions like this. And it's down to Anaton alone. 45 seconds, all the time in the world, with smokes in pocket as well. A rotation call and hipfire through main center. That will only telegraph his play! But Nade swings wide with the DMR, hits too hard. CAG find the opening round here on Club.
Remember what we said about DMRs on land. The audio cue was there. Nade swung, but it wasn't enough. CAG take their first round. It is 3-1 now. And again, that round had everything. There was a rush down main stairs that was semi-successful. It got a couple of kills. Then we had Akron just chilling inside of blue for a minute and a half, picking up a kill as well. And it all came down to a 1 versus 1 after a great nade double. But CAG come out in top. Do you remember the definition of CAG? It was doing things wrong and coming with the right results. I think that's what that round was. Task failed successfully.
Yeah, it's almost a miraculous thing to watch this team work. Again, the best way to put it is right, you've got your squad of 5 players. Within that, you have like separate little fire teams doing their own thing. You have 2 players with the intention of getting a pick inside of bar and just sending it down main stairs straight in the site. The fact is that there was no caution, there was no hesitation. The decision making was, yep, let's go. And that's why they're so dangerous to teams who aren't ready for it. W7M still in control of this matchup, but we had a little taste of what CAG can do when given the space to execute in their own style.
It's the guys who cast CAG in the regionals in every stage. They must have the most fun job in the world. Like, casting Japan must just be a blast. Now, Philippox will open up that line of sight down in towards Adam that he can use from below, and he'll also try to bandit trick here close towards that breach. JV92, he's got sole charge of playing inside of rafters, but again, it will be made easy with the fact that he is playing Wamai, so the longer he stays alive, the more of an impact he will have as his gadgets keep recharging. The same can be said about KZ, who's in charge of watching that backstab all the way over on the far side of the map. But the big thing is, they've already got bottom garage open, and that means that the player on top of rafters just has to be a little bit careful that they don't sneak through and get a bit of an angle. But the bandit tricking is working so far. It's been a bit of a problem. 1 minute and 10 seconds gone, and they're still trying to remove those charges from place.
Not gonna be easy. Not gonna be easy at all. W7M will make it difficult every step of the way. The glass in play means Anaton's certainly cooking something. Black Ray down below, cautious of an entryway or caution of pressure down below in basement. Can try and up nade, and that's exactly what the intention is. The nade goes out, the nade is perfect, and CCTV can get this thermite down. Fox doesn't even dabble, tempt the idea going to that bandit because the second nade is likely to follow the first after the clear. And now, breach is open, and that's all CAG really can. Very one-dimensional, very one-sided play, and I have a sneaking suspicion the two smoke grenades and pocket of Anaton, that's what this execute's all about.
Yeah, and the big thing is no warden. So now Ackley will drop, and there's the fear, and just like that, 3 members fall as they tried to 3-2-1 go. I don't know what was longer, the 3-2-1 go or the time it took for the round to end after that.
Yeah, that was outstandingly fast. That was, listen, I'm all for quick executions. You know, they can be fantastic. They can catch your opposition napping. And I think it went the other way there. CAG just send it in, and W7M are like, okay, we'll win our ones, and the round is over. Flawless victory for W7M. They get themselves one more round victory on the defense. Complete control. They are your major champions for a reason. CAG, not the only APAC team represented here. Can they find a little bit more momentum with their final offensive round so they can get themselves back in the fight against W7M?
Back to Gym Bedroom. W7M won this successfully last time around. Are they going to be able to do the same? Well, you look at what CAG did to try win the last time. Well, it was pretty standard. They pushed over from the CCTV Cash side. And then with a minute left, they decided to just vault in the master bedroom window and see what happens. And they almost pulled the round out of the bag that time around. Again, I expect them, in theory, to try do the same. They're going to open up that breach over by CCTV Cash side, try to take control of that side of the map, and then at some point push in through gym window, master bedroom window, or drop through the hatch. Again, this is CAG. It takes a brave man to make a guess at the start of the round what you think they're going to do. But looks like JV92 is going to try and meet them at the point of entry, at least for the first 20 or 30 seconds, and then he drops back behind his shield.
For W7M, the real incentive is to not overextend, not engage, not play by the rules of CYCLOPS. That's what CYCLOPS want you to do. They want you to peek. They want you to give you openings. You know, take that round where the 3K in basement happened instantaneously. You give it opening, they'll just go. They don't need an invitation. They'll just kick down the door and say, hello, we're inside a site. The W7M, a safe decision to not necessarily meet them on the entry, but just wait, bide your time, because eventually this team is kind of likely to overextend. CAG are going to make mistakes. It's in their DNA.
And the thing is, though, when they do it right, they are phenomenal. Again, you look back to that game against BDS back at SI. They were brilliant. Obviously, this is a slightly different iteration. Their stage 1 was relatively...
Oh, no!
Well, the good thing is there's nobody there. But there is another frost map.
Yeah. Who's wrong? No, I hope no one walks into it. Okay,
well, Ackley is going to get himself 2 on the board, but then KZ and Herds will level the sides once more because punches come in bunches in this game, Whip it.
I mean, honestly, it seems like CAG send a haymaker and instantly W7M reply back. Both teams swinging for the fences, it feels like. Jibsu toying, tempting at the windows, looking for anything through the prone level holes. Maybe a foot, maybe a leg, anything. Flashbang sent out to get control, some pressure inside of construction. No one in Logi, but CAG don't seem to know that just yet. They can walk in and take construction without really any pressure, any fight for it. Minute left to work. We're in a good position for both these teams still.
And again, you can see the plan that's being put into place. You got Chibisu playing on the window. Casey's going to hold in case he decides to have a peek over towards the master bedroom one. Chibisu's doing the other, thinking maybe he can wait KZ out, and KZ might be tempted to rotate back towards the mattress in the engine. 35 seconds ago, you can see the rotate. They're bringing everybody over to the window side. KZ decides now's the time to go, and he gets himself one. Is traded back, but it's a 1 versus 1 all of a sudden. Nade with the SMG-11 gets a little bit windy, and that allows Suzuki to go and try to get the case down. He sprints to try bait him off, then falls back into cover. Now we've got that cat and mouse game of whose nerve will go first. Nade Stepping through again, once more, the wind is a little bit strong inside of logistics, and Suzy C is going to go for third time lucky.
5 seconds
And
remaining.
Nate,
Yes,
well, you got to push this time.
No!
Oh,
Suzy
Suzy
had
C.
time to stick it. You'll feed for that one. The shotgun blast misses, but Nade doesn't. We lose clutches. Huge performance there. Nade massively confident in those clutch plays. Suzy C, 1 extra second. You had time to stick it. Narrow margins. You just got to feel and live in the world of what ifs in that position. And CAG will only have 1 offensive round victory to their name of moving into the side swap.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I feel like that was a big opportunity for CAG to win that round. They did have time to stick. Nate didn't even put a lot of pressure pushing back that time. He had more than enough time to get the case down and get out the window. But just like that, you give a player like Nate the opportunity to clutch out a round. Well, you know, it's as simple as it can get for a player like him. He's almost had an incredible clutch already again today, but he got destroyed by a DMR on the sprint. But it's 5-1. W7M playing the way that you expect the current major champions to play. And as I said, I still don't think we've even seen as good as W7M can be. Because when you consider stage 1 of Brazil, they weren't phenomenal. They were good, but they weren't great. At the major, they were great. And I think this team is still on an upward arc. This team, if they win this event, they could go on to be a dynasty. I said, there we go. I said the word. People were wondering how long it would take. People wondering how long it would take. I said it today. Day 1. Get it out of the way early.
You know what? Realistically, I can't argue with your discussion, right? You know, we go into Montreal and W7M versus G2 is a great grand final. G2 win it, and instantly the dynasty conversation comes into it again. That's because the legacy. GC is going to find KZ early. Huge pick, and that's going to be KZ, one of the most influential members of W7M gone early. Back to my point, you know, we almost thought G2 was going to launch a second dynasty in this game. W7M do actually look like genuine contenders to be able to do that. They on that upward trajectory, always performing, always improving, and always shaping the meta. One of the most dangerous teams to play against. They've been slowly building this world-beating roster. Shibzu in a difficult position, chased down by Herds. Herds really wants to get this trade. Does not want to enter the Lion's Den. Knows a threat's inside a bar. That's going to be flawless and a great swing from both players. Damage on the Herds. And Anton needs to play a patient game, but drops Photo Hatch and returns back to the site. Minute 50 left of this round.
Yeah, and I think that even though CAG have got that 1 kill, they've done their job. That's a really good start. 1:40, all back towards site, give away vert control. It's okay. Now you got to turtle up and don't let W7M get a free kill and get themselves back into the round. Philippox will open up those long lines of sight that should prevent anybody from pushing close towards Herds. It'll get rid of the drone or the camera for him as well. But someone's going to peek. Someone is going to peek towards Herds, and you can see Azami having a look down by box. There you go. Black Ray will peek and will find the kills. And honestly, this is just good. All CAG need to do now is relax. And that can be one of the hardest things for some teams to do whenever they've got a numerical advantage on defense.
You can almost see the wheels turning in every player, in the head of every CAG player. They want to peek, they want to take the fight, they want to engage. It's almost difficult for them to sit still, and that's going to be one of their problems. Historically, what cursed them on the defense so many times in the past, the inability to sit still. But it looks like they're a little bit more well-regimented this time, not giving W7M a way into this round and waiting for that execution to arrive. So Nade on that hatch needs to drop, has smokes in back pocket, and across the Philippox holds the case at bottom main. Is this going to be a bait and switch? They might think it's going to be a full execution, a full send from hatch, but it's going to be arriving from bottom main. Philippox inside the site through the Ash Rush. I might just sneak this plant in back site. Nade needs to cover. It needs to be solid, but that's going to be a great swing from Anton. And Black Ray finds one on the plant. And JV92 all alone. And Black Ray gets one more flawless round for CAG.
Much better. Much, much better. I love the plan from W7M to push it down main with the sledge, but honestly, CAG played that much better. Whenever I said they needed to relax, that's exactly what they did. They didn't get too aggressive. They didn't throw away any lives unnecessarily. Really good round from CAG. And is it a start? Yes, they're still a long ways away from catching up to W7M in this game. but they do need to just focus on it one round at a time. Now, one thing I will say, we keep getting glances of that jersey. You brought it up at the start of the show. Seeing that little badge, the crest in the middle of the jersey, like what they do in other sports whenever teams win major events, it looks so cold on that W7M jersey. I'm a huge fan.
Well, you know what, Gibby? While we're in a prep phase for this one, hold this jersey out there at the Gamers8. What do you think? Are you gonna say W7M?
Yeah, I think. Well, right.
5 seconds to insertion.
Falcons are obviously up there with a shout.
Attackers have located a
Okay.
bomb.
You have last year's Falcon jersey.
Defuse a bomb.
I do. I think. Yeah, I think W7M's got the nicest one. What a chat pick, actually.
As much as it pains me to say, Gibby, I agree. W7M's jersey, I think, is the cleanest at this event. Oh, XG, close second. The rebranded white jersey look impeccable. Chat, what do you think? Is Curly has just run out of strip and found nade. Okay, CAG have a complete confidence on the defense to do whatever they wish, and the case goes cold, but KZ quickly recovers it.
Yeah, and that's what they need to do. Shock and awe. You know, as I like to call it, guerrilla warfare by CAG. Hit and run, get out of there, and leave W7M with no chance to get the trade game. Now they're going to get that main jacuzzi breach open, but you look at the way that it's being defended by CAG, they brought the Fenrir instead. So obviously you don't have the Mira, so you got to find another way to slow the push. So the minute that fear pops off, you'll see someone peek across. Maestro is in position as well, so you'll get lots of intel off those bulletproof cams, again, as long as you don't get too greedy trying to do some damage. The foundations that have been laid in this defense by CAG are really, really good. I just hope that the materials they use to build the structure of it itself are as good as the foundations.
I like that analogy, Gibby. I like that a lot. The big thing for me is now you need to play to the advantage. You don't need to overextend. You don't need to take careless risks. You need to make calculated risks. Of course, that's the game of Siege. But KZ has strolled inside a bathroom and can cause a lot of problems now. And nade will go deep and trying to clear a construction door. Blackberry wise to it and falls back. Anderton takes a lot of damage from a second nade as well. Left in deep, and finished off by Herds. And W7M have site control at this point. But the Solace down below presents a difficult problem to solve. They'll know exactly where that case is going on and have potential to stop it. And well, Herds from KZ in a difficult spot as he can get denied from below.
And this is the thing that I love about W7M. Any one of the 5 can take the case in any given round. Philippox gets a great cover. Arculi is a little bit too slow on the attempted flank, but KZ will dip himself back into Shire and wait to find it. It's a 4 versus 3. Great peek coming through from Black Ray, but Herds trades one back and he gets a triple on the round. But there's Black Ray making it a 2 versus 1. Herds and Philippox taking on Black Ray. Now the Maestro cams can start feeding this information to Black Ray. He's got information, but he's still got 2 very good players to clean up if he wants to win the round. He's going to get aggressive. He steps up, gets close to the breach, peeks around the side, does a little bit of damage to Slade, but he forces him to come off the plant. Pre-fires, gets one, pre-fires again, and he gets it. Black Ray wins another round for CAG, and that was a huge play. But is that another case of pros don't fake? And should W7M have stuck that plant?
I think the cover would have been good enough if you stick that plant, the win conditions established. They decide to make the decision. Let's hunt this. Let's play for kill. And well, Black Ray played it perfect. All the pressure, everything amounted to that in a 1 versus 2. One was a 1 versus 3. Clean, crisp, and clinical. And can get themselves another round. The defense might be where they absolutely find themselves. I'm here for it. 5 through the scoreline on CAG. They've got a pulse.
I am loving every minute of this game, and I know that there's a lot of CAG fans watching this right now thinking, you know what? At first I was saying CAG is a joke, but now they're starting to look really good on these defenses. And you know what? CAG are adjusting on the fly here. They're saying, okay, if you're going to put a frost mat on red stairs and a frost mat behind the shield on that little corridor, we're going to do the exact same and see if we can capture W7M with the exact same trick. But no surprise to see Solace going down the ground floor, going down to basement, and trying to get that opening pick on any W7M players who try to just sneak their way in from the bottom of the map and work their way up.
Did not expect this turn of events. I did not expect to see such a confident display from CAG on the defense. I knew it would favor them. I knew it gives them that extra bit of comfort. They're not as under pressure on this side. I'm very intrigued if this momentum can continue. Bandit trick comes out by Annington, and it seems to have done the job delaying some time. And W7M waiting and trying to do best they can. The EMP gets sent off, to clear the window, catches Annington. Herds finds one as well. Suzuki and Annington are the very first to fall, and that leaves site very exposed. Rafters is open, and W7M look to have complete control early. Solace crosses into construction, needs to take this difficult fight, but runs out of options. That single wall is now open, and that adds a bit of hesitation, a bit of anxiety in the mind of going near construction.
Well, this is the thing. The amount of pressure W7M have put on just by opening those two walls and keeping Garage free for themselves now, right? So now for Acrylate, it's very difficult to rotate through construction. He's going to be very wary about pushing up and very careful. You can't rotate across site because the main breach is open. So in essence, you've forced Acrylate to try to retake from the hatch, and that's what he's going to do. KZ gets another kill, but there's Acrylate to pull back one, but he's going to get shut down as his position is put into place. And now there's Herds rounding it out. But again, that all came down to just a simple thing of getting Garage, opening up main breach, and opening up construction breach. By doing those things, the defending side don't have the ability to be fluid around the map anymore, and it makes every single fight linear for the attacking side.
That was, I think, a way more in-character performance from W7M. That's what we expect from them. They were presented with a problem. There's a bandit trick. They didn't want to clear it from down below in lounge, so they worked out a way to do it from CC window, and Annington gave up that freebie. KZ found another one across the map, and since then, they played the numbers game perfectly, and they controlled the round from there. W7M, map point here on Clubhouse. Can CAG show a little bit more life? Can they keep themselves in this fight? Or is it a little bit too little, or too little too late from them? W7M in control of the series so far. I wouldn't be surprised if this is it and we need to go to Villa next.
See, this is the thing. If we were doing predictions before this, I was going to say W7M would win, but I had a feeling that CAG are very good at catching teams by surprise in the first map of a best of three. But I think this is a case of just the class of W7M. And even though CAG are throwing so much at them, they're just staying calm and collected. Now W7M have gone into their BR strat book this time around, and they've brought themselves a blitz, they've brought themselves a ying. You saw a little bit of something similar to this in the last game that we had with G2 taking on M80. But this is one of those Brazil classic style strats. You use the blitz alongside the ying to cause so many problems for the team. It allows you to take map control. Again, with blitz, you're a little bit more open than you would be with, for example, a Monty, but they're going to use it to the exact same effect. And here it comes. Philippox is going to go down dirt as quick as he can, and if he finds an easy pick, they're going to push really hard. But there's the fear going off, which will signal to Chibisu that the push is going to come through Freezer. And this could be massive, and you can tell that nobody is going to push, but here we go. Chibisu is going to get it stuck in the kitchen. He gets shut down, and well, it could be the credits coming down in this map now as KZ gets the opening pick.
That's a case of what could have been. If the picks went the way of CAG there, this could have been a very open and short round, but Philippox might be able to directly charge straight into sight and cause a problem. It's that keeper barrier once, and will just invite that pressure. Rings the dinner bell, perhaps saying, yeah, I'm thinking about going straight through, but in retreat all the way back to kitchen. What are W7M cooking? Is Annington being let cross for free back in the kitchen? They know. It looks like W7M have no idea. KZ and Nade so close to each other. And that Flores drone used to make Vert. Herds will fly one off in the distance, but Annington becomes a problem inside of kitchen, but shut down. Left in DBNO. And here comes the full might and power of W7M.
Suzuki throws the pocket fear, the F-Nat behind him, which means anyone pushes in blue will get blinded. Philippox will stun and flash his way towards Fox, but there's nobody in position. There's the freebie though. Philippox, much like Iconic early on, finding that kill, pushing through dirt, but Suzuki pulls one back. It's all down to him against Philippox, Herd, and JV92, but JV92 sees him, wins the round, and wins that map Map 1, W7M, I say the script has been followed by the letter, I would, in most people's opinion. But that was impressive by CAG at times. But the one thing I will say, Whippet,
Yeah.
where was Blitz for them? CAG are known to take Blitz, even when Monty's available. Where was it? Isn't it Black Ray that we tend to see on the Blitz?
I think it was a more reserved version of CAG we saw today. I think they're going through a bit of change with new coaching staff coming in to trying to find a new identity with that roster. So